Back at Grand Slam track, women's 200, Melissa Jefferson-Woodard. She's Mrs. Grand Slam right now.
That's right. And here's Gabby Thomas, who's back in the short sprints. She was second in Miami. She won the long sprints in Kingston. So I know she wants a little bit of revenge here on Melissa Jefferson-Woodard.
Tamari Davis, second in Miami over this distance. Oh, sorry, my bad. There's Tamari Davis. Jaden Mays there. Another one of those fast Oregon Ducks from the Olympic trials in 2024 in this event. Made it through to the finals. Thelma Davies. She'll get a hometown welcome.
And rounding out the field, this is Celera Barnes. Had a breakout indoor season. The U.S. indoor champion at 60 meters. It's another great field, and after what Kenny Benari just did, I'm sure they're inspired to run really well in front of a great crowd. Set.
Thomas away pretty smartly. Although it's just lost half a meter or so, and he's got to get moving here because Dina Asher-Smith is running a cracking bend and also going well. Jefferson-Woodard into the home straight with a good 2-meter lead.
Oh, wow.
Can Gabby Thomas hold this in? She's got work to do.
Oh, wow.
Hold of Jefferson-Woodard. Can she get there? It's
Oh,
going to be tight in the
wow.
lead. But she's got it. 21-99. Well, well, well.
Oh, wow.
She doesn't even want to look at Gabby's own to go, sorry. Sorry. Look at Gabby's face.
Oh. You gotta remember, Melissa is actually the first leg on the relay team. She's a turn runner. This is a turn favorite track.
This is, like you said, it's a different 200 meters here. Wide turn. You only, once you straighten up in the home straight, you've only got about 75 meters left.
Yes, yes. And I know that's what Melissa was thinking when she got on that straightaway. This straightaway short, I'm winning. I don't got to hold on for that much longer this time. And she held on.
So that's not only a personal best, again, another record for this track in the stadium.
Wow. In the rain.
I mean, at this point, you think, well, Gabby didn't get a good start because you're thinking, yeah, Dina Asher-Smith was up on it, but then you suddenly realize Jefferson-Woodard is out there, but Gabby normally hauls people in, doesn't she?
She does. But sometimes when people are that far out there, I know there had to be a moment where Gabby was like, hold on a second, she actually is kind of far. There might have been a bit of panic getting into the straightaway because there was a lot of ground to make up. And you can see on Melissa's face, she knows that Gabby's going to be coming, but she has to hold on, and she did hold on and had the strength to be able to maintain in this 200. A huge win over the Olympic champion in the 200 meters. And she wanted that. Bad.
You look at, well, they didn't show on that replay, and the rain's back, but Gabby Thomas was tight, you know, kind of fighting.
62 hundredths of a second. That is the margin between Melissa Jefferson-Woodard's reaction time off the blocks and what a typical elite 100-meter specialist produces in a 200-meter race. She left in 0.138 seconds. Fast, but not unusual. What happened over the next 21 seconds was, the field at Philadelphia was built around Gabby Thomas. Thomas had been second in Miami, then first in Kingston. She is the reigning Olympic 200-meter champion from Paris, 2024. Her best at the time was 21.60 seconds, and her race model is one of the most efficient in women's sprinting. A controlled bend, a smooth transition, a devastating second-half surge. On paper, she owned this event. Jefferson-Woodard came in as a 100-meter specialist. Her personal best over 200 meters entering Philadelphia was 21.96. That is fast, but it places her in a different tier from Thomas at that distance. She had won the indoor 60-meter national title. She had strong acceleration mechanics, but 200-meter racing requires curve management and metabolic endurance that 100-meter athletes often have not developed to the same degree. So why did she win by such a clear margin? The answer is phase displacement. Jefferson did not simply run faster. She ran a different race shape than Thomas expected, and she ran it in a way that dismantled Thomas's strategy before the straight even began. Look at the first 40 meters of the bend. Jefferson pushed her acceleration phase 12 meters deeper into the curve than Thomas did. Most 200-meter specialists carry momentum from the blocks through a short drive phase, then transition to upright mechanics early to begin managing the bend. Jefferson treated the first 50 meters like the opening of a 100-meter flat. Maximum force application, 4.7 steps per second, with a forward lean that most curve runners abandon at 30 meters. Her first 100-meter split came in at 10.82 seconds. Thomas split 10.95 through the first half. That 0.13-second gap is not enormous. But the mechanism that created it has consequences. Jefferson's aggressive curve posture, roughly 17 degrees of lateral lean through the apex, meant she was generating centrifugal force as propulsive energy rather than fighting it. Thomas's more upright posture, around 12 degrees of lean, is the efficient form for the second half of the race. It is also why she normally finishes strongly. The problem in Philadelphia was that she entered the straight already behind. Here is what most people assume about 100-meter specialists stepping up in distance. They start fast and die. The data from Philadelphia does not support that for Jefferson. Her second 100-meter split, from the top of the straight through the finish, was 10.91 seconds. That is a deceleration of only 0.09 seconds across the second half. Elite 200-meter specialists typically show a 0.15 to 0.20 second drop between halves. Jefferson's aerobic capacity and stride economy over the straight were both underestimated. Stride length data tells the story. Jefferson averaged a 2.21-meter stride across the back straight, with a frequency that held at 4.6 steps per second through the final 40 meters. Thomas, closing hard, was at 2.18 meters and 4.5 steps per second over the same window. The difference is small. It confirms Thomas was not fading catastrophically. She was simply too far back for her closing speed to bridge the gap. Jefferson finished in 21.73 seconds. Thomas crossed in 21.89. The margin was 0.16 seconds. What this reveals about curve mechanics matters more than the result itself. The bend in a 200-meter race is not something to survive. It is where races are decided. Athletes who apply maximum force through the curve and who have the hip mobility and lateral stability to do so without losing efficiency arrive at the straight with a velocity advantage that compounds. A 0.13 second gap at 100 meters does not shrink linearly. It shrinks only if the trailing athlete accelerates above their own top speed, which is not available at that point in the race. What is genuinely surprising here is not Jefferson's speed. It is her curve posture under fatigue. Maintaining 17 degrees of lean through a full bend at race pace requires lateral hip stabilizers to fire continuously against centrifugal loading. Most sprinters trained primarily in straight-line events have not built that capacity. Jefferson has. That is a training adaptation, not a natural gift. It suggests her preparation for Philadelphia included curve-specific loading work that never showed up in her flat-track results. The line between 100-meter and 200-meter specialists is becoming structurally thinner. The decisive factor was not Jefferson's acceleration off the blocks, and it was not her top speed on the straight. It was the 35-meter window from the 45-meter mark to the 80-meter mark, the deepest part of the bend, where she held maximum output, 0.3 seconds longer than Thomas did. In that window, she built the lead that Thomas's closing speed could not erase. What to watch for in any future 200-meter race. Track the position of the leading shoulder at the apex of the bend. An athlete who keeps that shoulder low and forward, rather than letting it rotate toward the inside of the track, is maintaining force, direction into the curve. When that shoulder rises, the athlete has switched to passive momentum. That switch is the moment a race opens or closes. In Philadelphia, Jefferson's shoulder stayed down through the apex. Thomas's rose 3 meters earlier. That is where the 0.16 seconds came from. Jefferson-Woodard came into Philadelphia as a 100-meter athlete. She left having run the fastest women's 200 meters of the Grand Slam track season to that point. If you want to understand how phase displacement works in hurdles events and why the same bend entry mechanics determine outcomes in the 400-meter hurdles, that breakdown is the next video. Subscribe so you do not miss it. And drop a comment with the name of the athlete you think is most underrated in women's sprinting right now.